Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shrute Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutrabhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Hari Om. Now, after talking about the glory of this Manushya Janma, the human birth that we have all been blessed with, in the verses 2 through 5. Now, from the 6th verse onward, up to the 13th verse, Shankaracharya talks about Jnanam and Jnana Sadhanam. He talks about Atma Jnana, self-knowledge, and the means to self-knowledge. Let us read the 6th verse that we completed last class. Vedantu Shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajanti devatah atmaika bodhena vinapi muktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. So first he points out that self-knowledge give liberation, and any other sadhana cannot give liberation. He mentions a list of sadhanas. Vadantu shastrani. Let a person study and speak about different shastras, give talks on different shastras, whether it is secular sciences, it can be Tarka, Mimamsa, Vyakarana, etc., or worldly material sciences also. And Yajantu Devan, let him perform any number of rituals. Let him do any number of karmas. Laukika karmas also, Vaidika karmas also. Let him do. Let him do any number of upasanas. None of them can give liberation. If one does not gain self-knowledge, atmaika bodhena vinapi muktihi na siddhyati. Liberation is not possible, not attainable. Even after Brahma Shatantarepi, even after hundreds of Brahmajis coming and going, even after that, that is a long time in terms of human years, over 1 trillion years. He is not going to attain moksha. So we should not misunderstand this shloka. Shankaracharya is not condemning the rituals. He is not condemning karma and upasana. He does not do that. He only says that they cannot give Atmajnanam and liberation. That is their shortcoming. We don't say they are useless. We don't say that. We don't say you should give them up, you should not do it. We don't say that. They're very important. Very useful. They have a purpose to serve. Very important purpose to serve. Without karma and upasana, without those preparation, one will not even come to jnanam. Those preparations are necessary to give you that eligibility, jnana yogyata. That is what they are meant for. Without karma and upasana, jnanam is impossible. And without jnanam, karma and upasana are incomplete. So you please remember this sentence very clearly. You must get an understanding, remember it. Without karma and upasana, jnanam is impossible. And without jnanam and karma, without jnanam, karma upasana are incomplete. So we have to understand the roles of each in our spiritual journey. Continuing, verse 7. Amritatvasya nashasti, amritatvasya nashasti, vittenetyeva hi shrutihi, vittenetyeva hi shrutihi, braviti karmano muktehe, braviti karmano muktehe, ahetutvam sputam yatah, ahetutvam sputam yatah, amritatvasya nashasti, vittenetyeva hi shrutihi, braviti karmano muktehe, ahetutvam sputam yatah. Like this. How do you say and why do you say Brahma Jnanam alone is the means to liberation? So Shankaracharya says, I say it so strongly, yatah, because Shrutihi Braviti Sputam. The Upanishad very clearly, Sputam, very clearly say, Karmanaha Muktehe Ahetutvam. Action is not the cause or the means to liberation. In the previous verse, Bhashyakara said, Karma cannot give moksha. Upasana cannot give moksha. So in this verse, he is saying, he is giving the supporting pramana for that. The support is, the pramana is Shruti pramana. And he quotes the well-known Brihadaranyaka statement. amritatvasya na asha asti. Asha. Asha, hope. There is no hope for immortality. Vittena, through wealth. Iti eva shrutihi. This is from the well-known Maitreyi Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I am sure you all know the famous dialogue between Yajnavalkya Rishi and his wife Maitreyi. That is the context in which that Maitreyi Brahmana is set. There it is clearly said, there is absolutely no hope for anyone to gain liberation through wealth. We have a similar idea in another Shruti also. Na karmana na prajayadanena tyagena ike amritatva manashuhu. Part of Vedantic Arati, we chant that. This is a famous mantra in Kaivalya Upanishad also. So it's clearly said, Dhanena amritatvam nasti. No immortality, no liberation through money. Money can buy a lot of things, but it cannot buy happiness or immortality. So Shankaracharya points out that money is the means for performing karma, especially Vaidika karma, or for that matter any action, anything that you do needs money. You want to build a house, you want to buy a car, you want to send your kids to college, you need money. Any project you undertake, you need the financial resources. No question about it. And if a person wants to take Vedic rituals, spiritual, religious rituals, for that also you need money. You need money to buy all the materials that are required for that yajna yagadi. You need money to give dakshina to the priests. And so many other things are there. Therefore, money is seen in the scriptures as karma sadhanam, means to karma. Normally, we see money as kama sadhanam, to fulfill our desires for food, some basic needs. Also, we need money, and then comforts, pleasures. But here, the scriptures see money as a sadhana for karma also. So Bhashyakara says, money cannot give moksha, that money-based karma, money-based karmas, actions, also cannot give moksha. So moksha cannot be gained through wealth. Moksha cannot be attained through karma. Even punya karmas, punya phalas gained through karma will not give you moksha. That is what is said in the next line. Karmanaha muktehe ahetutvam braviti. Shruti refers to karma as not a means of giving liberation, as incapable of giving liberation. There seems to be no connection between the first line and the second line. In the first line, Shruti says there is no moksha through money. Then in the second line, Shankaracharya says there is no moksha through karma. So Shruti says no moksha through money, Shankaracharya says no moksha through karma. So how do you understand the first and second lines? So please add, if karma is born out of money, so if money cannot give moksha, karmana moksha na bhavati. So rituals done with money also cannot give moksha. That is how we need to understand. So once we say karmana na moksha, we have to extend it to all upasanas also. Karma is upalakshanam, indicative of all upasanas also. Therefore, we should add, upasanas also cannot give moksha. Why do you include upasanas in karma? All upasanas are also a type of karma only. All upasanas come under karma only. They are activities. They come under activities only. If upasanas also come under karma, why do you call them upasana? We call them upasana because they are all actions purely performed by the mind. It is manasa vyapara. That's the only difference. The karmas you do with the body, all your organs of action. Whereas upasana, it is not a kayika karma, it is not a vachika karma, it is manasa karma. That's all. So to indicate karmas performed by the mind, we use the expression upasana. That's all. Otherwise there is no difference. Upasana is defined as manasa karma. All upasanas are mental activities. But all mental activities are not upasana. Keep that in mind. So conclusion is, karmana na moksha. Upasanena na moksha. So no liberation is possible through action. No liberation is possible through upasana. Here Bhashyakara has given only the Shruti support. We should know there is logical support also. We can even reason it out. Through logic also we come to the same conclusion. What is the logical support? All karmas, all actions produce results in time. You perform an action first, and then the results of action come. All karma palas are the end product of a process or a series of processes, whether it is a physical process or a mental process, but it is a karya, it's an end product. In the end, that means it has a beginning. It's not there. The result is not there while you are doing it. And it comes after the job is performed, after the action is performed. So it begins at an instant of time. And we all know that anything that has a beginning will certainly have an end. In Sanskritam, the word phalam is split as palgutaya dhiyate iti phalam. That which rots and perishes is called phalam. It's very clear from this very derivation that whatever karma phalam you acquire, they will perish. Fruits are called phalam, and fruits are perishable. You leave it outside, unrefrigerated after a few days, It's no good. So like fruits and vegetables, which are perishable goods, karma phalams are also perishable. When we talk about moksha, liberation, we always talk about everlasting moksha. So moksha is not an end product that can perish, that should perish. No, no, no. So we must never expect moksha to happen at some time or the other, at some time in the future. The biggest mistake that we commit is to expect moksha to be an event in time that will come sometime in the future. So expecting moksha to come about, to take place as a certain event sometime in the future is a fundamental mistake we all make. If it were to come as an event, then it will become a phalam. It will come and then it will go away also. Then what are we struggling to do here? You get it and then it goes away. What good is that? So all our sadhanas are not to attain that moksha as an event, but to discover moksha as an eternal fact. That discovery is what we need to do. This is a very important point to understand. Understand moksha cannot be attained through karma or upasana because there is a shruti support and there is also logical corroboration to support what is said in the shruti. So Shankaracharya says here the Upanishad braviti sputam, clearly, spashtam, very clearly it tells karmana na moksha. Liberation is not attained through action. So Shruti says, logic also supports, and our own experience, trying various things. If ignorance is the cause of sorrow, then knowledge alone will remove that ignorance and give us liberation. Therefore, we say Brahmatmaika Bodha, that knowledge of the identity of Brahman and Atman, the individual self and the total self, that knowledge alone is the solution. So the goal is set, the means is established. Then what do you have to do now? So in order to gain that knowledge, you have to go to a knowledgeable person. So to learn Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman, to gain that Atma Vidya, the self-knowledge, you have to go to your teacher. If it is Brahma Vidya that you want, you have to go to someone who has gained that Brahma Vidya. Therefore it is said, Ato vimuktiyai pratayeta vidvan, Ato vimuktiyai pratayeta vidvan, Sanyasta bhahyat sukha sprihassan, Sanyasta bhahyat sukha sprihassan, Santam mahantam samupetya desikam, santam mahantam samupetya deshikam tenopatishtartha samahitatma tenopatishtartha samahitatma ato vimuktयै prayateta vidvan sanyasta bahyata sukasprihassan santam mahantam samupetya deshikam tenopatishtartha samahitatma. Look at the beautiful thought development in this verse. Having pointed out, having said the precious nature of human birth, Bhashikara says that every intelligent person should work for that moksha alone. And for that one should work to strive for knowledge alone. Since moksha is through knowledge, one should work for that knowledge. So he says, Ataha Vidwan. This Vidwan, one who is endowed with knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. Here Vidwan is not a learned person or a Siddha Purusha. Talking about someone who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. We'll talk about all that, but since most of you are familiar, I'm using the term. So someone who has the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, who has that kind of a discrimination, he is able to separate the eternal from the ephemeral. The right and wrong, nitya, anitya, real and unreal. One who has such kind of discrimination, whatever you want to call, such a person is intelligent. Therefore, every intelligent person, vimuktaihi prayatteta, must strive, try real hard, put forth effort in the right direction. Vimuktyai, for gaining this liberation, for gaining this total liberation. That is called prayateta. And that person is called a vidwan. Then sanyasta bahyartha sukha sprihah san. Not only does he has viveka, he also has vairagyam, dispassion, detachment. San being, he must be sanyasta, renouncing. Bahya artha, external objects. Bahya sukha, pleasures born out of external objects. Give them up. We can call pleasures born out of external objects as sensory pleasures. Spruha, spurning away. Give all those attachment, give them away. Craving, addiction. Nispruha, give it up. The intelligent person must prepare his mind. Sanyasta, free from such attachment. Therefore, an intelligent one should become free from all those addictions, if you want to use a stronger word, addictions for sense pleasures. Then what should he do? Once you get viveka and vairagya, we save a lot of time. A lot of time is saved because sensory pleasures may be there in life, but they are only to a limited extent. The entertainment does not become the primary object of life. I often say, Okay? Never say entertainment should not be the distraction, all that. Human mind cannot be so serious 24/7. It wants some relaxation. It's necessary. Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself says in the Gita, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshasya karmasu, in the 6th chapter. Viharaha means recreation. Ahara, vihara. Some diversions we need. But the proportion must be very clear. And such diversions, relaxation, entertainment, etc., we have to choose the right ones also. Okay? Music, dance, and everything is fine. But that music and dance should not be vulgar, obscene, so much of trash is there. What kind of movies you watch, what kind of TV programs you watch, what kind of music you listen to, you need to have a little bit of discretion about that. So all those things should not take you away from your spiritual journey. So you can have a little bit of diversion. Nothing wrong. Once priorities are clear, a lot of time is available for something greater. Then what should you do? Vimuktai prayateta, such a mature person should work for liberation. And what should you do for liberation? Can you just sit and meditate? Okay. Meditate on the self. I need to get self-knowledge. So who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Will that do the trick? Do you know what is that self? Without introducing what is self, how can I meditate on something which I do not know anything about? So we have to be very clear. If you don't do it, do it right, you will end up in problem. So Bhagavan says, Bhashikara says, working for moksha is never a do-it-yourself project. It is not. It has to be guidance of someone else. Other sadhanas one may do without guidance. But once a person wants to pursue spirituality, he should never attempt to do it on his own. He will end up as a madman. And even those things that are said to be doing it yourself, but there are very good instructions. Even in any gadget that you buy, there are manuals there. And these days, even home projects that you decide to do it on your own, you can look at YouTube, they demonstrate. They are all gurus only. Even for that, you need a guru. So really speaking, you need a guru for everything. And he will talk about how to approach a guru. Guru Upasadanam will be talked about. What are the qualifications for the teacher? What are the qualifications for the student? All that will be it will be explained elaborately later. Now briefly, Deshikaha, Deshika means Guru, Acharya. The word Deshikaha is an ideal word for a Guru. Literally, Deshika means Shastram Upadishati iti Deshikaha. One who teaches scriptures. This scriptural teacher is called Vedanta Desika. And that Desika must be Santam, a saintly person, a noble person. He should be one who is a competent teacher, who has the qualifications to be a teacher. The qualifications for a teacher, for a guru, is said in the Mundakopanishad as Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishta means the one who abides in Brahman. What he preaches, what he teaches, that is what he is. If I am not Brahman, I will be teaching Brahman as though it is the third entity. Constantly saying that Brahman, that Brahman, that Brahman, I create a distance from me and I only feed into the objectification tendency. If I repeatedly do that, the student also, after 15 or 20 years, listening to that, he or she will say that I have known Brahman, but I have not come across Brahman. He will eternally be waiting for Brahman. That's the biggest misguidance a teacher can give. If the teacher has to reveal that Brahman, he is not different from Brahman and not something of an object to be realized in later time. Then alone he can say with authority, Tattvam Asi. And the student would be able to grasp that and declare, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Therefore, the qualified teacher is called Brahmanishtaha. So, Brahmanishtaha, that is one qualification. The second qualification is Shrotriyaha. He should have the methodology of communication. He should have studied scriptures in the traditional way. Shya Parampara. Very important. This methodology of communication is uniquely designed and developed in our scriptures. A particular method of communication in which you introduce a concept and you go to the next higher concept, negate the previous concept, then go to the next one, and then negate the previous one. Introduce, negate, introduce, negate, introduce, negate. And when it is finally negated, then what is left? What is left behind? What is left behind is I, the one who negates everything, that alone is left. After negating all that can be negated. So this methodology is called Adhyaropa Apavada method. Some of you have studied other texts with me, are very familiar with this Adhyaropa Apavada. In Vedanta Sara, we discuss this very elaborately. So this kind of deliberate superimposition and subsequent negation, that is called Adhyaropa Apavada. That technique is used, and the teacher should be familiar with that approach, and he should teach the student using that methodology. Introduction and negation. Ultimately, when all that can be negated gets negated, I, which is the very subject, I, the one who has done all this negation, I alone remain, and that is Brahman, that is the reality. That is the consciousness alone which will be left behind. This method is called Adhyaropa Apavada. This is designed and developed in the scriptures alone. So the guru should be very familiar. He should have studied the scriptures thoroughly, should have understood this and used this technique. So the one who knows this method is the one who has a knack of handling such a technique. And if that is handled, the student will stop expecting moksha as an event in the future. This is the ideal communication. The student should stop expecting liberation to happen in the future. He will only say, I am not a samsari. Stop this expectation for moksha. Stop expectation for liberation. Drop the notion of bondage. That is how the teacher must teach. This is the sign of ideal communication. Ideal communication. And only the student alone should certify the teacher. He is a proper teacher, because how does he do that? By being able to say, I am not bound even now. That's what the student says. If the student says like that, the teacher has done his job, her job. The competence of the teacher is therefore proved by the student. At least one student must come up and say that. Then alone the competence of the teacher is established, is proved. This is called Shrotriyatvam. A Brahmanishta, a mere Brahmanishta may not be a good communicator. So a Brahmanishta who is also a Shrotriya, both qualities should be there. Such a guru is a Desikaha. Therefore, Vimukyai Prayateta Santam. The word Santam means Shrotriya Brahmanishta Deshikaha. He is Mahantam. One who is a compassionate Acharya. Generous Acharya. He does not say, I've gained knowledge, I've gained knowledge, I've gained liberation. If you don't have, that's your problem. No. That guru does not, that I should be free, but I should share and make the other people also enjoy this freedom. Motive. Not getting any benefit for himself or herself. If he is expecting something in return, it's another business transaction. Then Vedanta will become another business. So that ideal guru is called Mahan, great. Dayaluhu, very compassionate. And to gain that knowledge, we should approach such a teacher. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.